Good evening and welcome once again to Straight from the Sky. I'm your talk show host, Bobit Avila. So tonight, we have a very special guest in the person of my dear friend, Father Mhar Balili. He is supposed to be the chairman of the 500th Christianization of the Philippines cultural for the historical and cultural affairs, so that people will know what happened to a place called Cebu, why it has become a very Christian place. And yes, this is something that historical for us, except that we are blocked by or stifled by the COVID-19. And the partnership of the Cebu Archdiocese with PLDT SMART has been approved, and that it will be SMART that will be doing the social
media activities.
Yeah, social media, and PLDT will help with its promotions in the world, because this is not just a celebration for Cebu, but a celebration for Christians or Catholics throughout the world. And we'll be back with Father Mhar Balili after this break. Please don't go away.
Sumuko na! Hindi ako suko! Sumuko na! Hindi ako suko! Sumuko ka na!
Tagal. Parang internet mo. Get the Sky Fiber Super Speed plans. Up to 200 Mbps for fiber fast days.
Ay, sumuko!
Switch to Sky Fiber.
Thank you for staying with us. It's really an honor and an opportunity for me to have once more, after 3 years, with Father Mhar Balili. Almost 4 years ago, kay karong November 8, I will be 4 years in my kidney transplant. Father Mhar allowed me to use the skull cap of Archbishop Camomot, and I placed it in my kidney before my operation, the night before my operation. So in a way, if you think na nabuhay ko gamay, it is due to Father Mhar's help. And he has been a parish priest in San Roque, and he has improved the church since the last time I saw it. And then he has taken over the Mary Help of Christians in Buhisan of Father Lucas Enoch, and he has turned that church into a beautiful one, as I saw it in the what you call social media.
Thank you.
So that is a kanabitaong a feather in his cap. But before we go to talk about Father Mhar Balili, we'll talk about what's happened now to Monsignor or Bishop Camomot.
Yeah, good evening to our televiewers. Thank you very much for inviting me, Sir Bobit. Regarding the canonization process of Archbishop Teofilo Camomot, we have already submitted the so-called positio. No? The positio in layman's term is like a thesis. You know, it's very interesting because we submitted a dummy, about 490 pages, and it has to be converted into a book form. And just last week, after they have printed into book form, they have already submitted to the Congregation of Causes of Saints. So yesterday, that's Monday in Rome, the book form of the positio was already submitted to the Congregation of Causes of Saints. So as to date, we will be waiting for the date when we are going to defend our thesis in front of the theologians. And if it will be approved by the theologians, then it will be submitted again to the cardinals for them to have scrutiny. Then if the cardinals would approve, then again it will be submitted to the Pope for his approval, so that Archbishop Camomot will be given the title Venerable.
So para venerable pa na.
Yes, Sir
Ang
Bobit.
canonization, wa pa.
Ang canonization, actually, it will go parallel, no? So, after given the title Venerable, he will become blessed. Then after becomes blessed, he will become saint.
Well, daghan akong nadungog, Father Mar, nga daghan siya mga what you call miracles that has happened. And really, people have survived because of praying. Ako, when I pray my rosary every morning, I pray always the prayer for Teofilo Camomot, really. Because for me, nakatabang siya nako.
Yeah, that's a very good question, Sir Bobit. No, it's true that there are a lot of miracle stories that we have received, because we need one miracle for him to become blessed and another miracle for him to become saint. However, in the strict sense of the word, whatever we have received, which we call so-called miracle stories, they are only called as favors received. Favors received means that it's something personal, and we cannot deny the fact, no, that there is a divine intervention.
Yes.
All of the things that we have received, whether healing, passing the board exam, these are all called favors received. Why? Because it is only Rome who can declare that something happened as miracle.
Correct. Yes.
Why? Because Rome has given us criteria so that a particular healing could be called a miracle.
Yes.
No? So, number one, that the healing should be a matter of life and death. Meaning there's no healing, and the doctor would say, well, it's beyond our control. No? So, it's beyond the matter of life and death. Like, for example, cancer, etc., etc. Number two, that the healing cannot be explained by doctors. No?
By medical science.
By medical science. Because some healing could be explained by doctors. Like, for example, they would say, well, the patient is healed because underwent surgery or chemotherapy, etc., or because of the medicine. So that would somehow disqualify. But if science and doctors cannot explain, then that would qualify. No? That's the second criterion. The third criterion is that that the healing should only be attributed to one candidate, meaning that the patient only prayed for one candidate. It's not possible during the interview, kakinsa man ka nag-ampo, then you would say Pedro Calungsod, Archbishop Camomot, Mother Teresa, no? So basi mag-away na sa langit, no, nga ako may ni-intercede ana, no? So usara gyud ang imong giampuan para klaro gyud to whom credit is due. That's
really true.
the third. And the fourth criterion is that we can start studying the case after 5 years of healing. We call that 5-year relapse. Why? Because there are many healing that would recur after 2 or 3 years. Now, for example, cancer patients, there are many stories that they are healed, cancer-free. But after 3 or 4 years, the cancer recur. So
Yeah.
that would somehow disqualify. So these are the 4 criteria so that a particular healing can be declared a miracle. And
Yeah.
so as to date, we're still looking for that special miraculous event or healing that according to the intercession of Archbishop Teofilo Camomot.
Well, I hope and pray that that healing will come soon.
Yes.
Because after all, Archbishop Camomot is no ordinary person. But the fact that he is what you call venerated by many people in Karkar and here in Cebu is enough sign for me. Mga makatabang na siya. So, what happens now? Excuse. Do we have to wait for pinakapatuig?
We have to wait whenever there would be miracles that would be submitted to us, then we will try to investigate. And if according to our investigation and according to the approval of the doctors that it would be beyond their explanation, then that's the time that we will forward our investigation to Rome. And if we have panels of doctors here in Cebu, they also have in Rome panels of doctors. So there will be 2 scrutinies here in Cebu and also there in Rome.
Well, muna yung lagi nga si Pope John Paul II was one of the first saints that passed the what you call the age of time. Kasi nga si Mother Teresa, no? She was already considered a living saint. So if you think about it, I think people who have helped a lot of people during their lifetime should be entitled to be called a saint. No? So, para nato, swerte ta nga si San Pedro Calungsod nga gi-saint to ang iyang pare nga iyang gitabangan. Karon naapil siya pagkasantos kay nganon di man siya maapil sa pagkasantos. Nya si kaning atong taga Manila,
San Lorenzo
San Lorenzo Ruiz. I went to his grave site, where he was killed in the mountains in that hill, Nisisaka Hill in what you call
Japan.
Yeah, in Hiroshima. So, Nagasaki, sorry. In Nagasaki. And sa luyo sa ilang 24 to ilang gi-crucify nga mga saints. So, sa luyo na iyang statwa. So, makaingon kagwapuha, isultihan ng Pedro Calungsod. Pero iyang story, nasa mga pelikula nga similar sa iyang story. So yun, he was asked to renounce Jesus Christ. Usara iyang giingon ko, if I am given 1,000 more lives, I'll give it all to Jesus Christ. It's a beautiful statement to come from a person who has become a saint. Because for me, dito sa Nagasaki, porte naghahanan nila nya mga paintings dito nya Jesuit ra ba ang silbing museum dito nya ang ga-assign sa nagbantay sa museum is actually a Jesuit assigned by Pope Francis himself. So it's a beautiful place to go and para nako pilgrimage. So again, it is something that we Catholics should understand and know more. And we'll be back with Father Mhar Balili after this break. Please don't go away.
Ay, may lag. Parang internet mo? Get the Sky Fiber Super Speed plans. Up to 200 Mbps for fiber fast days. Switch to Sky Fiber. Bagal kasi. Parang internet mo? Get the Sky Fiber Super Speed Plans. Up to 200 Mbps for fiber fast days.
Ako single.
Switch to Sky Fiber.
Thank you for staying with us. We will now discuss the second portion of the show, which is actually the appointment of PLDT Smart with the Cebu Archdiocese to promote the 500 Christianization of the Philippines. And we have the chairman of that group with Father Mhar Balili, who will actually promote Cebu into the world through the technology of smart and what you call PLDT Smart. So, unsa may plano nimo ani Father?
Yeah, next year, the whole Philippines, especially
Yes.
Cebu, we will be celebrating our 500 years of Christianity. You know, our main event would be on April 14, 2021. No? However, as much as we wanted to drum up the activities onwards to April 14, 2021, because of the pandemic, we cannot do large gathering of groups. No?
Sayang kayo.
Yeah. Actually, last year, we have been planning and there are a lot of activities already, supposedly this year, but unfortunately, because of pandemic, we have to move backwards all the activities.
Correct.
So, the Archdiocese of Cebu plans to have and to promote the activities of the 500 years of Christianity by maximizing our mass media, especially our Facebook, through webinars, through documentary, and video presentation. So last Saturday, September 26, Archbishop Jose Palma has opened the social media activities of the 500 years Christianization of the Archdiocese of Cebu. And so the posting of the social media activities will be happening every Saturday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon through our Facebook page, 500 Years of Christianity, Archdiocese of Cebu.
That's very beautiful, Father. Para nako ba kay we are a very what you call conservative Catholic. 500 years ago, kasi ang totoo na there was this guy named Martin Luther, and he defied the Pope. He questioned the Pope on so many issues, and kisa ito nga a few years later, 3 ships or 5 ships coming from Seville in Spain sailed all the way from Europe to reach the Philippines. Tulo na lang kabarko niya, abot dere. Nagdaog Santo Niño nga statue. Kanang Santo Niño karon nga naa as Basilica is the very same Santo Niño nga nakit-an ni Legazpi. Pag anhin ni Legazpi din di siya motuo nga kay ilang gibombardiyo ang simbahan, nasunog. So medyo na pagkaitom ang kuan sa statua, pero nakakuan jud nga Santo Niño dito. Nya kaning Santo Niño kung imong tan-awon kisa may motuo nga anak na sa amahan. Ang amahan is the creator of the world. And so this is the beautiful image that has made the Cebuanos or the Philippines into a Christian nation. What? Pila man ta ka million karon, mga 104 million, of which 80% are probably Catholics. And makita nimo sa akong tanaw ha, katong International Eucharistic Convention during the what you call procession nga ang monstrance regi gisuroy ni tanaw nimo, Father, 2 million people. Di ka kitag procession sa Europe. Ingon ana gadaghang tao. Never. I have never seen. Kita man kong mga procession sa dito, pero dili ingon ana, so may lag na ay 2,000, 3,000. But that Eucharistic Congress, for me, was an eye-opener to many Catholics, especially the foreigners. So that should be emphasized, Father.
Yes. In fact, part of our activities would also be another procession that will be culminating the whole year activity, because we'll start the year-long celebration on April 4, 2021. That would be Easter Sunday, and it will last the year-long on April 22, 2022. And
So,
it will
sa katuig yun na.
sa katuig, no? Kay supposedly November man ta to this year, no? And because of pandemic atong move backwards, so it will end on April 2022 with another huge event known as the Second National Mission Congress.
Well, by that time, let's hope nga nanay
Yes.
vaccine nga makapa-kontra sa COVID-19. Kaya aron mahimo na ta mag-procession nga ingon atong gidaghanang tao. Kaya wa pa man to social distancing itong panahon na. And I think, Father, like I said, here in the Philippines, the Catholics are what you call kanabitang orthodox in that sense. Na like ako, muklawat ko, di mo ko mukupot. I open my mouth because I want to receive the Lord Jesus Christ, not because of my hands, but because of my tongue. No, because He is. How many people or how many Catholics believe that our Lord Jesus Christ is truly present, body, blood, soul, and divinity in the Eucharist? Many Catholics do not accept that. And so, by doing so, they also just, what you call, get the Holy Eucharist by holding their hands and putting it in their mouths. Anyway, ikaw, Father, sa may mong sa thinking, ana.
Yeah, sakto na imong giingon, Sir Bobit, but karon, no, because of the pandemic, ang atong gi-practice, instead of we receive communion by the mouth, ang ato by the hand, no, for hygiene purposes. Pero through the years, it has been a practice nga we have to receive communion by the mouth, no, to show utmost respect to the Eucharistic body of Jesus.
Well, you know, Father, there has been a lot of what you call Eucharistic miracles. Kami, in that sense, we were lucky because, 2 years ago, we went to Padre Pio during his feast day, which is a 4-hour drive from Rome. And on the way, kita big name Lanciano. So on the return na mo, yung na namon driver kay Pilipino, ang driver na mo, pwede ba mo hapit ka dyan? Pag hapit na mo, to ay sign dito, Milagroso Eucharistia, 7 kilometers. So from that corner, niliko yun may, gisurug yung mag-iadto, that was the first Eucharistic miracle that happened in the year 800. And you can just imagine, kibaw dyan ko nga Eucharistic miracle. And I was, given 15 minutes. Because by the time naabot me, musira na ang simbahan, kay gabiin na. So, we were given a glimpse of that Eucharistic miracle and saw it by its, Anya, karon, Father, nga, kung imong tan-awon, all the, what you call, the blood na ilang tan-aw, so for instance, naa sa Shroud of Turin,
Turin.
na the same
Blood type.
blood type. Nya diha sa to'y usangan ingon nga si Ron Wyatt, if you look into the YouTube of that, Ron Wyatt believed that the Calvary, where Jesus was crucified, and when his breast was torn, blood and water came out. And what happened was the Roman centurion who had an eye problem was cured. That's why he said, truly this was the Son of God. And ang iyang dugo supposed to be nito dito sa Ark of the Covenant. Muna ingon na Ron Wyatt sa YouTube, and you can check it there. And you know, ikuha niyang itom namang kulor. Gi-scrape niya ang supposed to be blood. And they found out na you're supposed to have what you call a blood type from your mother and your father. In the case of Jesus, there was only one blood type. One chromosome. And siya ilang gipungutana sa ospital nga gibinlan niya ang dugo. Siya di man niya karaan, kuan man ni bag-o man ni nga dugo. Nahibong Ron Wyatt nga naman nga daan man to, that is scripted from supposed to be the Ark of the Covenant. And it's a beautiful story for me, really worth watching. And that is something that we'll continue to talk about after this break. Please don't go away.
First song. Thank you.
Bilis maka-sound trip. Ganyan sa Sky Fiber Super Speed Plans.
For today's look,
Bilis makaganda. Ganyan sa Sky Fiber Super Speed Plans.
LU pare.
Bilis maka-vacay. Ganyan sa Sky Fiber Super Speed Plans.
thank you for staying with us. We're now halfway to the show, talking with our good friend, Father Mhar Balili, who is the chairman of the 500th Christianization of the Philippines on its cultural programs and, yes, and historical programs. And this will be with PLDT, SMART, and the Archdiocese of Cebu. And yes, the only way we can promote right now Cebu is not because of anything, but since foreign tourists are not allowed to fly and we are not even allowed to go out, the solution is through electronic media. No, so we can actually come up with our own what you call journey of faith. No, kaya ang Philippines kung imong tan-awon journey of faith gani. Kaya ngano niagi sa tag kagubot sa hapon. Niagi tagubat. So although dito ta under sa Espanya, and the Spanish, what you call, executed our national hero, eventually si Jose Rizal, but at least, napildi man sila sa Spanish-American War, we were granted independence after World War II was over. So this is something, Father, that we can actually propagate and promote. And one thing I wanted to promote, Mangani, pag-gubat, Father, ang Santo Niño, gitago dito sa Redemptorist Church. Yeah, there is a time for that imagine, ang anak, gitagoan dito sa balay sa inahan. No? It's a beautiful story. And I wish, I told the kuan before nga, kung maghimo taglaing sinulog type of celebration sa pagsilbing pagbuhi na sa inahan sa iyang anak nga murag natawag kaduha. No? Kay gibuhian naman. Kay nahimo naman siya nauli. So there is a photo of that with the Redemptorist priest and the Augustinian priest accepting the Santo Niño. That alone, Father, is a good story.
Yeah. Very historical.
Yeah. So, the country na hitabo din is Pilipinas, people who were what you call, in fact, I just saw a movie entitled Unbroken by an American who was actually a pilot, and he was an Olympicer, and he was imprisoned after his plane crashed by the Japanese. And he actually prayed and survived the war and died only in 2014. And this guy was really, what you call, religious, kaya kuan man sila nga pamilya, Italiano man sila nga pamilya. So in a way, because of his prayer, nabuhi siya, human gubat. So I'm sure we can gather a lot of stories here in Cebu City. No? Kay ngano, din Cebu City, daghan man sa nahitabo. Then the whole Philippines, if you count the whole Philippines, yes, there are many things that have happened, which the Santo Niño also helped. And in fact, kita Sugbo, tako kay ng kuan nga, the fact that we celebrate the Santo Niño on the first month of the year, that through the Sinulog, it's a great blessing that the Lord has given us. And for me, that blessing is continued by your work into this pandemic, that our, what you call, 500 years as a Christian nation began right here in Cebu.
Yeah, there are a lot of activities that we have planned, no? Not only about historical activities, but also spiritual. And this year, we will focus on our media platforms. And it's very interesting because there are a lot of beautiful speakers, no? Not only coming from Cebu, but even speakers from Manila and even from Mindanao. So because of the social media and because of the media platforms, it would be easier for us not to invite. Even if the speaker is in Manila, he can only do the speaking engagement through webinars.
Yeah, correct.
So at least we can save, in that particular
Well,
sense.
Para nako, Father, one of the greatest contributions of this Christianity incident here 500 years ago is that 500 years later, kisa na matuo ng mga Pilipino kay gutom, kay ngitag trabaho, manglarga sa Europe. You go to Europe, and if you go to Europe and look at the major, what you call, historical places like Notre Dame in France, if you think about it, nagkakig tao sud. Pero, buhay na nga di, kaya puro turista. You go to the Vatican, nagkakig tao. Pero gamay na kayo na nga di. So if you think about it, the Filipinos have what you call gone back to Europe. The very same Catholic Church that was granted to us or blessed by the Lord to a place called Cebu, nabalik dito sa Europa.
Yeah, you're right, Sir Bobit, because our theme for the 500 years of Christianity is gifted to give. In other words, we were gifted with our Catholic faith. We have nourished that for
Yeah.
500 years. Now it is our time also to share our faith, not only here in Philippines, but even all throughout the globe.
Correct, correct. That's a very good story, Father. In fact, if you go, daghan kayong mga, what you call them, overseas workers, they're maids in, let's say, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Kuwait. But these maids take care of children of what you call Muslim families. And when they pray, the little girl or boy, makadungog na unsa man na siya inyo mong ikuan, lain man pangadya, di man na mao, lahi man ang Islam. No, so if you think about it, again, like this pandemic, I've been watching so many miracles by what you call Islam people who have died and gone to heaven, and realized that a lot of the heads of their what you call Islam faith are not in heaven, and they were surprised. They thought their faith was perfect, and here we have what you call a situation where the Filipino, unfortunately, has learned to love their faith. I mean, it's no joke to love your faith, because it means you have to love Jesus Christ. And how to love a person that you have not seen is a difficult one. I'm sure kamong mga pare, ilisod mo na.
Yeah, that's our challenge today,
Yeah.
That we do not only evangelize, especially in the pulpit, but to really allow the people to experience their own faith. Because many of us, yeah, it's true, as you have said, 80% of our Catholics here in the Philippines, but many of them are nominal Christians.
Correct.
So there's problem in our politics, wherever we are, precisely because some people place a dichotomy between their faith and their more public life, no?
Correct.
As if they are trying to leave behind their Christian faith inside the church, and the moment they go out, they're simply a non-believer.
Well, you will see that happening in the United States today. Kay karon sa Amerika, na usab ang Amerikano kay tungod they have legalized abortion. And if akong gingnan nila, you may have legalized abortion, but it's still immoral. Just like yaw-yaw mo about slavery. Slavery was immoral from day one, even if it was legalized. So, here you are, imagine a 9-month-old baby, mahimo pa nilang patyon. I mean, what kind of mentality is that? So, in fact, Donald Trump had a new sort of law that have been passed na if a child was alive inside the womb, he has already constitutional rights. No, that is a new kind of thinking in America, because a lot of people whom I've met, may nga dal, unsa may problema nimo ba di man na murder, kuan man na ka ng what you call constitutional rights Amerikano, which for me is still wrong, whether you like it or not. So we'll be back with Father Mhar Balili after a brief break. Please don't go away.
Huwag mo siyang pakasalan!
Bagal kasi. Parang internet mo? Get the Sky Fiber Super Speed Plans. Up to 200 Mbps for fiber fast days.
Ako single.
Switch to Sky Fiber.
Freeman, bye!
First song.
Thank you.
Bilis maka-sound trip. Ganyan sa Sky Fiber Super Speed Plans.
For today's look,
Bilis makaganda. Ganyan sa Sky Fiber Super Speed Plans.
LU pare.
Bilis maka-vacay. Ganyan sa Sky Fiber Super Speed Plans.
The theory of decreasing responsibility explains how your life insurance needs change over time. In the early years, you may need a lot of life insurance coverage, but in the later years, you may not. In the early years, when you're younger, you don't have a lot of money, but in the later years, you'd better have money. How does this fit with your insurance needs? Today, when you're young, loss of income due to a premature death would be devastating. Your children are young and you might have high debt and a house mortgage. Your need for insurance is highest at this time. When you get older, retirement income is needed. Your children are grown, your debts are lower, and your mortgage is paid. If you have savings, you are self-insured, diminishing your needs for insurance. That's the theory of decreasing responsibility. By having life insurance when your financial responsibilities are the greatest, you can have peace of mind knowing your family's future is protected.
Thank you for staying with us. So, Father, sa pa may mong plano, Father?
So as to date, I would like to again invite you to please like our Facebook page, 500 Years of Christianity of the Philippines, Archdiocese of Cebu. And every Saturday, please watch all our posting. And next year, starting April 4 until 2021, there will be many activities. But our opening for April 4, that would be a parish-based that will happen in all parishes in Cebu, simultaneous. So what would happen on April 4, that's Easter Sunday, there will be a simultaneous 4 o'clock Mass. And after that, there will be a Eucharistic procession inside the church. And all the people will go out and we will unveil the Jubilee Cross mounted in front of the church.
Wow.
Then the parish priest will read the declaration of Archbishop Palma opening the year of Jubilees. So from April 4, 2021 to April 2022, there will be monthly activities in the parish level and in the archdiocesan level. So it will be a simultaneous activities. So in other words, we will be very busy celebrating our faith. And we have 3 pillars in our celebration. No? Number 1, of course, we have celebration. Number 2, formation. As much as we celebrate with all the activities, we will also intensify our formation, our catechesis regarding our faith. And lastly, we will also have the so-called legacy. What would be the fruit of this celebration? Because what would happen next, no, after these 500 years? So it is very important to emphasize formation, especially our catechesis on baptism, and also our calling as Christians. And also, number 2, with regards to legacy. What can we leave behind
Correct.
to our future generation? So, as much as we celebrate our faith, we also have the responsibility to promote the faith throughout the world?
Well, if you think about it, sa Mexico may Dias Los Muertes. So kita na adjad tay atong kuan kanang All Saints Day and All Souls Day. And we have way klase na way trabaho ng mga lugar. So, and think about it, you go to any mall, inig alas 3 hapon na ay 3 o'clock prayer. Kanang 3 o'clock prayer was not invented 2,000 years ago. It only happened, what? More than 100 years ago. So, the Saint Faustina, supposed to be the secretary of Jesus Christ, was the one who came up with a kanang ni-appear Jesus niya, and she wrote in her diary a perfect, imagine na magsuot kag blank paper, niya murag na linya. She wrote it in perfect form to a point nga ang mubasa makaingon nga gimakina ba niya. That for me, Father, dako na nga point nga ang Pilipinas is really udto magkuan man ta.
Angelus.
Angelus man ta. Yung inikala 6 sa gabi ang mag-Angelus man ta. Napay 3 o'clock prayer, no? So I think these are what you call jewels of Christianity that the Filipinos learned to adopt. Kaya nga no, dagang kay tao, Father, nga mo pray sa kuan. Some of the kanabitaw what you call the kanang spiritual ones pray the chaplet of the Divine Mercy every 3 o'clock. And that is a guarantee that Jesus will save you even if you have sinned when you die, and because He will not act as a just judge, but He will really unfathomable ang iyang divine mercy. Di matugkad. So that is something that the Filipinos really believe in and really work their lives daily into it. And that is something that you should present into the world also. Kay pila raman ka nasod nga gaingon ana whole world. Even in Poland wa na tingali. So if you think about it, our Christian faith is really part of our way of life. The Cebuano way of life or the Filipino way of life. Kaya nga no, imagine na, 2 major incidents or kanang every January, the Black Nazarene, nga kanang what you call procession, perting millions. Then we have the Sinulog. Ang Sinulog is a festival, but the night before, during the procession, you're talking about 2 million people in a procession. Very quiet. Only you'll see the candles walking. So you can just see, Father, nga Filipinos have really integrated their faith into their system. Yeah, dili na siya kahambog sa ubang lugar, Father. Because it's really something to be proud of. And ako, Father, di man ko even as a writer, I write about these things. I do not close my eyes on the reality that our Christian faith has grown with us. Muna ingon lagi nga ang gracias Ginoo na nato. And we should share in it. And we should share with the whole world. Because after all, Father, whether you like it or not, matapos atong kalibutan, mamatay tag sayo, because not all people are given the blessing to live an old age. A lot of people die at a young age, but then when you go, muna primerong question. In fact, there was an article I just read kang Michael Boris. I had him here on my show sa Vortex na siya sa Church Militant. Niya, kana si Michael Boris, naa siya ka ng YouTube nga kuan yun, namatay man si Gingrich. Imagine ang iyang title is Stone Cold Killer. So if you think about it, Justice Gingrich, ingon siya nga, everybody gets to be rewarded by God when you go. So, unsa may reward ni Gingrich? By the time naabot siya dito sa langit, kung nanunta naabot siya sa langit, kinsa may musugat niya? The millions of souls that were aborted in the United States. So if you think about it, Father, ako na-shock ko ito that he was going to tell it like that because Merkano hadlok di maganahan minag ngayon anak. Because para nako, only a Michael Boris would say that. And for me, I'm proud to have interviewed him in the show also for a long time ago. So this is something nga kita mismo against gitag abortion for the simple reason that sa panahon sa pagkatao ni Jesucristo, there was what you call the killing of the innocents. And the killing continues today. And it should stop already by hopefully by November 3, if Donald Trump wins, maundang na niya tanan. Kay mo man ang saad nga ang Roe versus Wade ilang tumbahon. Kay America is in trouble today. Because imagine ang kanang mga Black Lives Movement, puro na Marxist. Ang kontra sa Amerikano is communism. Imagine, gubat sila sa Vietnam, komunista may kontrato. So if you think about it, this should be what you call a lesson to be learned by the world. That a place called the Philippines, a small island chain in this part of the Far East, where the name of Jesus Christ has become a part of their culture. So if you think about it, gikan sa Europa, by 3 ships, 500 years ago, they came here, and then 500 years later, Filipinos go to Europe to work and re-evangelize the Christians of Europe. And that is what you call proud moment for us in the Philippines to be able to do that. And that is really something that not many nations can be proud of or say that they have done. And so, unfortunately, we run out of time. We'll just ask Father Mhar Balili for his parting shot after this break. Don't go away.
First song.
Thank you.
Bilis maka-sound trip. Ganyan sa Sky Fiber Super Speed Plans.
For today's look,
Bilis makaganda. Ganyan sa Sky Fiber Super Speed Plans.
LU pare.
Bilis maka-vacay. Ganyan sa Sky Fiber Super Speed Plans.
Thank you for staying with us. Let's now ask Father Mhar Balili for his parting shots. Father Mhar.
Yeah, I would like to invite once again to be active with our social media activities for our upcoming activities for the 500 years of Christianity through our Facebook account. And personally, the Archdiocese of Cebu is very thankful to Smart PLDT in our partnership in order to have these social media activities realized in order to spread our faith to all the world. So thank you very much, and also thank you, Sir Bobit, for inviting me here.
Well, Father Mhar, you've always been part of my life since my kidney operation, which for me was successful because you loaned me the skull cap of Archbishop Teofilo Camomot. And that's why I pray for him every time I pray the rosary. And that is something I'm telling you, and I'm not ashamed to say it in front of the cameras. And you've heard it here in Straight from the Sky. I'm Bobit Avila. Thank you.